In 1911, deep in the deserts of Nevada, a town was booming with money, opportunity, and thousands of hopeful workers. Within a few short years, it would become one of America's most haunting ghost towns. And the people who trusted the wrong promises would learn a lesson that time still teaches today. Trust is not proven by words. It is proven by what remains when everything falls apart. In the spring of 1911, the remote mining settlement of Goldfield, Nevada, stood as one of the fastest-growing communities in the American West. What had once been empty desert was suddenly filled with hotels, saloons, businesses, and thousands of miners searching for fortune beneath the dry earth. Newspapers across America called it the future. Investors arrived daily by train. Land prices exploded. Every week seemed to bring another announcement about rich discoveries underground. For many people, Goldfield looked like a place where dreams became reality. Among the newcomers was a young surveyor named Charles Morgan. Charles had spent years traveling across western states, mapping land and assisting mining companies. He understood geology better than most men his age, but even he became caught up in the excitement surrounding Goldfield. Everywhere he looked, people spoke confidently about endless prosperity. Businessmen promised wealth, mine owners promised growth, investors promised security, and thousands believed them. At first, everything appeared genuine. The mines produced impressive amounts of gold. Businesses flourished. Streets remained crowded from sunrise until midnight. Hotels struggled to find enough rooms for visitors arriving from California, Colorado, and beyond. Charles formed friendships quickly. He met investors, merchants, engineers, and mine supervisors. Many claimed they were building long-term futures together. One man in particular seemed trustworthy. His name was Victor Harlan, a charismatic investor known throughout town. Victor spoke confidently, dressed elegantly, and seemed connected to every important person in Goldfield. Whenever Charles expressed concern about certain mining projects, Victor dismissed the worries. "Trust me," he would say with a smile, "Goldfield will only grow." Over time, Charles began trusting him completely. That trust would eventually cost him nearly everything. By 1913, small warning signs started appearing. Several mines reported lower production than expected. Some investors quietly sold their shares. A few experienced engineers began leaving town, but public optimism remained strong. Most people ignored the warnings because they wanted to believe success would continue forever. Victor remained especially confident. He encouraged Charles and others to invest more heavily. "The future belongs to those willing to believe," he often said. Many followed his advice. Then reality arrived. In 1914, several major mining operations revealed disappointing results. Ore quality declined, profit shrank, investors grew nervous. Within months, businesses that had seemed unstoppable began struggling. Property values dropped, construction projects stopped, workers started leaving, fear spread faster than hope. Charles watched his friends who once spoke proudly about loyalty suddenly became concerned only with protecting themselves. Partnerships dissolved, promises disappeared. People who had encouraged risky investments denied responsibility. Some vanished entirely. Then Victor disappeared too. One morning, Charles visited his office and found the doors locked. By evening, rumors spread that Victor had quietly left Nevada days earlier after selling much of his property. No farewell, no explanation, no apology. The man who had demanded trust had abandoned everyone the moment circumstances changed. Charles felt betrayed. For months, he struggled to understand how someone who seemed so reliable could disappear so easily. But time continued moving forward, and as Goldfield slowly declined, Charles began noticing something important. Not everyone had run away. Some business owners remained despite losing money. Certain families stayed and supported neighbors through difficult times. Several miners continued helping one another even when jobs became scarce. The people who truly deserved trust were not the loudest voices during prosperity. They were the people who remained during hardship. That realization changed Charles forever. Over the next few years, Goldfield continued shrinking. Buildings became abandoned. Busy streets grew silent. Hotels emptied. Businesses closed. The booming town that once represented limitless opportunity slowly transformed into one of America's most famous ghost towns. Today, many of those structures still stand in the Nevada desert. Weathered walls, empty windows, silent streets. They are reminders of a forgotten chapter in American history. But for Charles, the greatest lesson was never about gold. It was about people. Years later, when asked why he had become so careful about trust, he often shared a simple observation. "Anyone can stand beside you when things are growing," he said. "The real test comes when things begin falling apart." America's forgotten mining towns left behind more than abandoned buildings. They left behind lessons. Goldfield's rise and decline prove that success attracts crowds, but difficulty reveals character. The people who promise the most are not always the people who stay. The voices that sound confident are not always the voices that deserve trust. And sometimes the only thing capable of revealing who someone truly is time itself. Because in the end, gold disappeared, fortunes vanished, and a once great town became a historical mystery buried in the Nevada desert. But one truth survived it all. Who to trust and who not to trust is something only time can truly reveal.